All right, Mr. H here. We are wrapping up Unit 6 with our day 2 of 8-6 here. We're going to do some more solving. We're gonna throw in a couple of twists and turns. We usually do that anyway, but we're basically going to be running off of what we did yesterday. So if for somehow you missed yesterday's lesson or skipped it or slept through it or whatever, go back and check that out first because we're going to be referencing a lot of things from that in here. So all right, solve. Remember to check for extraneous solutions. As I mentioned yesterday, I would know what my extraneous solutions are going to be in advance. So again, how do we do that? We take our denominators, because that's the only part we care about when it comes to this. Okay? 1 doesn't do anything. B minus 2. So if you set B minus 2 equal to 0 and solve that, B cannot equal 2. That would be my extraneous solution. So if I get to the end and I get an answer at 2, that doesn't work. Okay, so now what else am I going to do? I need to find my greatest common multiple. Okay, my greatest common multiple, my greatest common factor to help me through this. So reminders again, when we're looking at this. Again, the help sheet that we've talked about and talked about and talked about. We're just looking at denominators, okay, for this first part. Do I have coefficients? Do I have any numbers that aren't in parentheses? I have that 1, but 1 really doesn't do anything for us, so I'm not going to worry about that. Variables. Do I have any variables that are not bonded with plus or minus? No. So then the sets of parentheses is all I would have. So here, my least common multiple would be B minus 2. Okay, so what does that mean? What that means is we're going to take that B minus 2 and we're going to be distributing it to this whole expression, to this whole equation. I am a fan, you can decide whether you are or not, of writing everything out in a step like this because I want to visualize what I'm doing step by step. So here, for instance, okay, one fraction at a time. If I was multiplying these, if you want to put this over 1 even, you can. The B minus 2s are going to cancel. Now, I'm not going to cancel them out here physically because if I did, then I'm going to forget that this distributes. So when I come to here, those cancel out. I have 1. That's it. Okay? And then I move to the next part. I'm like, okay. Now here, I have B minus 2, and I'm multiplying times this. So I have 4 times B minus 2. And that's just over 1, because 1 times 1 is 1. Again, the idea here is that I'm going to end up with no fractions at the end. I'm just going to have an algebra equation that I'm solving. So that gets me set on the first 2. And then I do it one last time on the third one. The B minus 2's cancel. This is in the numerator. This is in the denominator. And all that's left is the 6. Now, I will say one other thing. If that's a part that's becoming confusing to you, maybe you grab an extra piece of scratch paper like I'm about to do here. And when you get this step drawn out, you literally write B minus 2 over 1 times 6 over B minus 2, where you can visualize, okay, what am I doing? Oh, I can cancel those. It just gets me 6, and then write the 6. Whatever you have to do to get there, okay? Because once we get here, we can do this stuff. This is easy. This is like back 7th, 8th grade. So distribute my 4. Okay. I have like terms on the left side. Now, why is that important? When they're on the same side, I'm not doing opposites. I'm not plussing 8 to both of these. Now, if you wanted to plus 8 to both sides and do it in pieces, you could. So 1 minus 8 is negative 7 plus 4b equals 6. I'm going to add my 7 over. I'm going to divide by 4. I can get fractions. Don't let them freak you out. The answer 2, nope. I'm pretty sure I'm good. Okay? So that's all we're doing. And so as I keep working my way through these, it's like anything else. You get better with practice. Now, reminder, before we get going through here, okay, I'm actually going to add a little something to the top of my help sheet here So I'm going to call this 1b. I'm going to call this 1a. Can I factor the denominator? Because if I can, you might be like, well, that's a different set of parentheses from that. I need all of them. Do you? Let's look at that for a second. So I look at the first fraction, x plus 6. I can't take anything out of there. It's no big deal. But those last two, do you see anything in common? I do. I see an x that I can take out. And like we said before when we were doing these, if you can factor it, get rid of the old one. That's the one you're looking at. Because now I got two things that I'm going to be looking at that's going to help me. Okay, one, I'm going to find my extraneous solutions right away. Anything that has x can be set equal to 0. So that plain old x, that can be set equal to 0. So x can't be 0. X can't be negative 6. So if those are one of the answers I get, it doesn't work. Okay, I got that in the back of my mind as I start this problem up. So then my next issue is to find my least common multiple. Let me get my help sheet back out. Okay, again, just denominators. I don't care what's going on in the top yet. Any coefficients, numbers that are just hanging out outside the parentheses? No. Do I have any variables hanging out? I do. Plain old x. I use that. Okay. Any sets of parentheses? Yes. But since all of those are identical, I only need to use it once. So I'm going to take that LCM. And again, if you're comfortable once you have this to just eyeball it and work through, that's fine. But I have found myself over time that jotting this down, taking that one extra step to do this, to be able to visualize it better, works a whole lot better. But everybody's got to find their own way. Okay, piece by piece. Here we go. First fraction. And again, if you need to write this separately so you can see it, and I'm going to do that on this first one. So you can see that those cancel and just give me 6x. Okay, then do that. Do the side work. Otherwise, you can do it like that. So then I move to the next one. I go, okay, oh, the x cancels and the x minus 6 cancels. So it's just the -1. Okay. All about patience with these. Then I get to the last one. The x cancels. The x plus 6 cancels. Or if I was doing it this way again, I'll do one more this way. X's cancel, x plus 6's cancel. I end up with 4. Now that's pretty slick. It goes from that big old nasty looking thing down to that. Just bang, that quick. Add the 1 over. Divide by 6. And again, as long as it's not one of these two, it works. You're like, is there an extraneous one coming, Hardy? I'm not telling you that. Okay. So I get to the next one. Oh, dear. Okay. First thing, we're going to put that over 1. Parenthesis, parenthesis, parenthesis. Okay. Let's have a chat for a second. Some of you are like, okay, Hardy, you said if we can factor first, we should. I think we can factor that numerator. Here's the deal. We don't need to do it if it's in the numerator. Because notice I wrote on here, can you factor the denominator? The numerator I'm going to leave alone. That actually makes this harder. So here, again, I'm going to do what I've been doing. I'm going to do my extraneous value here first. Okay, so x can't be -5. Got that in the back of my mind here. And then I look through, and I'm like, well, guess what? My LCM is x plus 5, because the parentheses, there's really nothing else in the denominator that can do anything. So I'm like, okay. And I look at this and I'm like, hang on a second. I think I can do this without writing that all out. Because look at it. If I take the LCM and multiply it, it wipes out the denominator. I get 6. I go to the second one. The LCM wipes out. All I get is the numerator. And then I get to the last one, and I'm like, well, wait, that doesn't cancel with anything, because that's just 1. What do? I multiply them together. Okay, because this didn't have anything to cancel with. Now, there's no fractions, but that's all I can do. So let's clean this up a little bit. This is going to be a little crazier. So let's see, x squared minus 2x, 6 minus 3 is 3. Now over here, I need to FOIL this out. Do not give me x squared minus 10. Little side work, probably in order. And again, we're multiplying the sides together, adding exponents, multiplying coefficients. So I've got x squared, 5 minus 2 is 3, x minus 10. And I noticed something. So we've talked before about, well, when we get x squares, we're going to try and get them all to one side. Well, here's the thing. What happens if I try to minus x squared? It's going to go away. So those are going to cancel. And now I'm back to a regular old Algebra 1 problem. I want to get 5x alone. We're going to add 10 over. And again, my answer is not -5, so I feel like I'm in good shape. Okay? So you're like, this is getting kind of repetitive, Hardy. But you know what the good thing about that is? When you're trying to get better at free throws, when you're trying to play that melody along and not screw up a note in the middle, okay? When you're trying to, in theater, get through that entire scene without stumbling over one of your lines, how do you get better? You keep doing it, okay? So you're not going to make those silly small errors and get angry with yourself. So let's try one more out here. And then we'll let you go into practice mode and see what you think. So first thing again, can I factor a denominator? Right here. And since some of you are running a little short on patience, I have a feeling at this point, let me go ahead. I'll factor this one for you. So we got one of each sign. Bigger sign's negative, multiplies 10, adds 3, 5, and 2. Again, I don't want that old one there anymore. This is my denominator. Work on your extraneous solutions or your extraneous values. Each set of parentheses that's unique will give you another value. So -2 and 5 would be problems. We don't want any part of those. Okay? Running through my LCM. Again, think about the pieces. Okay? So when I'm thinking about the pieces here, any coefficients? No. Okay? Any single exponents that aren't bonded? No. So my LCM is each unique set of parentheses. So I see 3x plus 2. Does that mean I use x plus 2 cubed? No, just 1. Now for this one, since there's more going on, I would write this one out. That's just me. You do you. But I'm going to do this because I get nervous that I'm going to do something screwy otherwise. Okay. Let's rock and roll. So here the x plus 2's would cancel. So I've got x minus 5, x minus 4. Okay, we'll deal with that. So then I got the next one here. The x plus 2's cancel. So I've got x minus 5. And then I get to the last one. Oh, the x plus 2 cancels and the x minus 5 cancels. The x minus 1. So I got to clean this up. Just like we had up above. FOIL this out. Do not give me x squared plus 20. X squared minus 9x plus 20 would be what that equals when I box or FOIL it out. Plus x minus 5 equals x plus 1. Okay, let's get this cleaned up because I got lots of like terms over here. So negative 9 plus 1 is negative 8. 20 minus 5 is 15. And now that I see I do have one squared term. Okay, so what does that mean? It means I want all my terms on that x squared side and a 0 on the other side. So we're probably going to be able to factor this. We're going to find out. So we're going to minus x. We're going to minus 1. X squared minus 9x plus 14 equals 0. And what I need to do here is I need to make an attempt at factoring it. Now, we're going to see if we can factor it or not here. Gee, I wonder if this is factorable. You're like, Hardy, you know what is because you made the problem. Well, that's true. Okay, multiplies to a positive means they're both positive or both negative. Oh, they're both negative. Multiplies to 14 and adds to 9. 7 and 2. Set those equal to 0 and solve. Now be careful. We're close this time. We almost had an extraneous. Negative 2 would have been an extraneous, but we got positive 2. Wait, I can get 2 answers? You can. You can. So be cautious of that. So here's what I would suggest at this point. Yesterday I suggested a simplify and a couple of the others for you to work on. Today I would say finish off the rest of them, okay? So whatever ones you did not do in the 8-6 solving practice, I would suggest doing those today and checking your answers because what we're gonna do starting tomorrow, because this is so critically important, we're gonna compare and contrast solving versus simplifying. When do I cancel stuff? When do I not cancel stuff? When am I solving? When am I just simplifying? Because we got to be able to keep this stuff straight. So that will be coming tomorrow. Do your online practice, do some of these, and then we should be starting to get a pretty good sense of how this works when we chat about 8-5 and 8-6 together tomorrow. But as always, if you got questions, you know where to find me. Have a good one.